Trying to conceive and struggling can be really hard, and anyone who's watching this knows that to be true. I think one thing we underestimate is how much the struggle can shake up our relationship with our partner, especially the dynamic if we have one. You desperately want your partner to understand, to feel what you're going through. And often I see a lot of women in my practice get really caught up with trying to make their partner understand, and other relationships too, right? Maybe it's a mother, a grandmother, a friend, a colleague. So I think this goes for everyone who can be in a dyad with the intended person who's trying to conceive. Often the person who's struggling needs proper space to have all their feelings. I don't want partner to be invalidating or underestimating what the person is going through. So for example, if someone is struggling because they're angry as a transfer got canceled or their medicine didn't show up for an upcoming protocol, the reality is often partner wants to say, well, we have next time, instead of tell me more how that feels. Can I give you a hug? Can we get outside? Do you want to watch a show? What are you in the mood to eat? Really helping them focus on coping skills rather than changing and fixing what's happening in the fertility space can be also really, really helpful for partners. Staying connected throughout all of this is so important. And when sex does feel like a chore and also often unsafe during this process for women that are struggling, I always like to ask women about how they felt more connected to partners prior to this. From an intimacy standpoint, it's not just about sex. Is it holding pinkies on the couch? Is it snuggling? Is it for someone, did you used to spend time together feeling really connected outside on a hike? Can you plan that for the weekend? I really think intimacy can look really, really small and simple during this time period, and it still matters. One idea for someone to get support that actually will feel good from a partner is to first set the tone for how you want the conversation to go. Perhaps that looks like saying something like this. Hey, I need to talk, but I do want to ask you to listen without fixing. What does that mean? Sometimes partners, understandably so, want to come in with ideas about how to solve or ways to take away the anxiety or the sadness. Or often I see a lot of eternal optimists out there, which makes sense, right? You love someone who's going through something. But first, just making space and listening without fixing, offering a hug when necessary, staying quiet and still can be actually the best way to support. I see so much overwhelm and sadness and often a ton of anger. I really want partners to know that and expect that from the person struggling, that there might be some anger, and often that's really hard to sit with. But making space for it and giving the person permission to have their anger and know that too is temporary is essential for our mental health. Don't try and take away the anger. Don't try and take away the sadness. Instead, try and hold it. The other thing I want to point out that makes this partner dynamic so challenging and often leads to a lot of disconnection and resentment is that the mental load of actually motherhood and parenthood starts, we know, in pregnancy, and for those who are struggling to conceive, then too. That can look like managing appointments, calling insurance, dealing with claims, picking up meds, navigating more appointments, protocol treatments, making decisions, maybe even getting second and third opinions. And so it's really easy to fall, like I said, into this trap of discomfort and resentment with a partner. You know, if it's feeling hard, it's because it is. And I really want to normalize that and also make space for the fact that it can get much easier if we have proper communication. One thing I love for partners to do is to have sort of a 10-minute, I call it a worry box, right? So talking and having all the anger, and maybe it's screaming and throwing a pillow or stomping our feet and crying together for the 10 minutes about the situation, and then close up that box and put it on the shelf. It's an amazing coping mechanism for containment so that we can hold the feelings, they exist and we have permission for them. And then we have to compartmentalize so that we can go back into the other parts of our life.